Alternative medicine. It's never been more popular. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and Americans are spending more than $30 billion on things like acupuncture, massage therapy, biofeedback, yoga, and meditation. Joining me now is Alison J Kay. She's a yoga and meditation expert and author of Vibrational Upgrade, A Conspiracy for Your Bliss, Meditating Your Way to a Better Life. Good morning to you, and thanks so much for coming in.
Good morning.
So, when people hear the word meditation, there's often been a stigma, like people either don't understand what it is or they're like, oh, it must be some far out weird thing. What exactly is it?
Well, it's just a reconditioning of your mind so that you don't just allow your mind to race around with its thoughts and you follow along and you're at the whim of your mind. It's called the monkey mind in Buddhism. It's instead learning how to take the lead of your thoughts so that you can come back to your center and not listen to all of your thoughts and create a different neurology. So people hear meditation and they think of Om, or they think of spiritualism, or they think of like all of these things. It's not. And one of the interesting things in the West, I lived in Asia for 10 years studying subtle energy and meditation and yoga, and Americans seem to have this idea that meditation is if they sit down and they can't get their mind quiet, they have failed and they drop it. And it's not that way.
So are you essentially supposed to try to quiet your mind and stop thinking? Or no, that's not the goal? Okay.
No, because even I've been meditating for 24 years and I don't have a silent mind. I have wider gaps, which is more space in between when thoughts pump out, and I have no pull from my thoughts. But I still have a thinking mind. I mean, I have a PhD.
You're a doctor. Yeah. So when we think we're failing, essentially, we could be succeeding. We just don't know enough about it to know.
Perfect.
So why would we do this? Why did you do this?
I was a political consultant, actually, ironically, with this time. And I was in between the primaries and the general elections. They were sending me to a really important election in Northern California at the time. And out of the stress, a book jumped off the shelf at me about meditation. It said Conquest of Mind, and so I started a practice, and then I have been developing it ever since. And there's a term that the science uses now in America called neuroplasticity. They used to think the brain, so for brain damage, they looked at it and they saw that the brain isn't permanently damaged. A few years back, they realized that the brain has plasticity to it, meaning the neurology can change. So when there is damage, for example, surrounding cells will take up the task that damaged cell had done.
And compensate for it. Yeah.
So there's movement, there's growth, there's change. And so when we're redirecting our attention back to the breath, then we're creating new neurology that doesn't make our mind have the prominence that we're used to with our ego identity and our personality that we present to the world. Instead, we're able to hold more of a center instead of it being all about externally based.
And for people who are hearing you say this, saying, well, that makes sense, but she's so far ahead of where I am.
Sure.
What is like meditation 101? How can people kind of get started and just try it and see if it is for them?
Close your eyes, breathe. And when you do become aware, you're just sitting there thinking, go, oh, thinking. Pull off of the thoughts, come back to the breath, and that's it.
And that as we do this, what would be you said stress, you said you did it for stress, and frankly, this political season, we've never needed more meditation.
I know.
Wow. Coming up debate 3. But what is a benefit people could use aside from stress?
What, I'm sorry?
Like, what else could you get from this? Like a calming? Could it be used to get
increased concentration, increased focus, increased memory, increased data recall? I mean, my mind is a steel trap. People commented on all the time how much I remember details. So increased clarity, increased creativity. I have a woman who came to my yoga meditation class. She sat down and meditated, business owner, had a problem going on, was trying to solve it and stopped, just did the meditation, went to sleep that night, woke up the next morning, and the problem was solved with an idea in her head. So it creates space for something else to happen instead. I've got to figure it out, got to figure it out, got to do it, got to make it happen.
And that's the rat race that we're all in. Dr. Alison J Kay, this is really interesting stuff. I want you to check out the book again. It is called
Vibrational Upgrade, A Conspiracy for Your Bliss.
I love that, A Conspiracy for Your Bliss. That's great. Thanks so much for coming in. Have to give it a try. All right, still to come.